Salutations. I'm gonna use the Timberland words. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a dope beat. Step two. Alright, so
Rakim originally, but it's all good. Go ahead.
I know, and I was in the Timberland one. I'm being young.
I just have to pay respect to the God MC.
Young crowd.
Good point. Most people got no idea who the hell Rakim is.
Like, if I say okay, I'll be good. They'll be like, hey, JC and Foxy Brown. No. Move back 10 years. No idea. So I'm being nice. Anyway, Just Cruising, season 2, episode 6. Kev Lacas, Dr. Love. Today's topic, if you choose to accept it, sir, equanimity.
Equanimity. Yes.
Sounds weird. What? I was gonna go. I was gonna play with the words. Equal. You know, equal. I know the word. Just messing with you.
Yeah, I knew you knew the word.
Oh, duh. I like to play dumb sometimes. I go, huh?
He texts me and says, what topic? I said, equanimity. He texts us back.
Hingrish.
Capital Hingrish.
R-I-S-H. Hingrish. He wants to spoil me with Hingrish. What is equanimity? Okay, sir. You might reply me with the definition. Equanimity. This, that. Okay, use it in a sentence.
I had Shut up, man.
His equanimity is messing with my equanimity. Alright.
Use it in a sentence. Kes was sent to test my equanimity.
There was not enough spice in the equanimity. I had to order more ketchup to put in the equanimity. It sounds like Nigerian film. Hey, the equanimity, the cockability, the jabajantis.
Oh, stop it.
You got me started now, bro. That's it. Game
Equanimity,
over.
yeah.
Hey, imagine these people, stupid teenagers, fatherless behavior, the equanimity. Hey.
I've been using fatherless behavior a lot, by the way.
You started it, man.
Oh, man.
You got me started.
What in the fatherless behavior is this?
Imagine these people. Nonsense. Stupidness.
Nonsense.
Jabajantis. The equanimity.
Okay, how do you define equanimity?
You start, bro. It's your show today.
It's my topic.
After I've defined it for you, it's Nigeria English. The equanimity.
Oh man, equanimity is, in my opinion, my definition of it, I would say is, it's that middle path, as Buddhists would call it, the middle path. So you're not too high and you're not too low. Whatever happens around you, you're not too. Let's say something good happens, right? You're not like, oh wow, like completely taken out of your center by that. But it's the same as something bad happens. You have this ability to be almost not indifferent per se, but something like that. You're kind of like, okay, I can appreciate something good happening, but if something that I perceive as negative happens, I'm also okay. It's not going to pull me off course too much. I'm not going to lose myself in that. So I would say it's a kind of healthy indifference.
Stoicism. To be stoic.
Yeah, actually, I guess you could say it's to be stoic.
Interesting.
And I think the reason I want to speak about this is because I'm working with a coach at the moment who coaches mindfulness, and one of the ideas in it is to, one of the areas of focus, the kind of scooter in the road that just looks so dangerous, man.
Equanimity, mate.
Yeah, I wish him plenty of equanimity, but one of the things that it's focused on is developing equanimity. And initially, part of me was like, does that mean your life's going to be kind of dead because you're just sort of going to be like, in the middle, like not too high, not too low? But actually, what I'm finding is it's really freeing to have to be in that space, because then you don't get too attached to any one thing, and you're kind of you're at a space of peace. And I think the modern world is so geared towards getting experiences, right? Like trying to get high, trying to get entertained, trying to get stimulation. Like people can't deal with boredom or just not doing stuff. Like there has to be this thing of like, and it leads to this kind of craving, which I think means people aren't centered and they're not at peace. It's like I need to constantly have some sort of stimulation or something happening, and I see less and less equanimity in people. People are more triggered, people are more reactive, people are more pushing this thing away or craving that thing. It's all craving and aversion, and I think equanimity is really, really powerful. So that's why I wanted to talk about it.
Okay, let's do this. Why would you suppose that is? Why would you suppose that people want to go, need to be in the now phase, they need to be doing something instead of slowing down? Why would you suppose that is?
I think because it's easier to have that stimulation. There's a famous quote about how most of the world's problems are due to men not being able to sit still in a quiet room. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. And I think most people, if they don't have that, they then just have to deal with themselves, and they have to deal with their own thoughts, they have to deal with their own feelings, and they have to deal with their own stuff. And it's easier to stay busy, right? It's easier to be looking at a screen, or it's easier to be watching something, doing something, playing a game, talking to someone, having sex, eating, whatever it is. It's easier than actually having to deal with your own internal world.
Would you say that's the same for all age ranges, all generations? So for example, is that the same thing for a 22-year-old, a 32-year-old, a 42-year-old, a 52-year-old, 60-year-old? Is that the same thing?
That's an excellent question. I think it's worse the younger the person is, because they've been more exposed to that stimuli constantly. So you and I are both in our 40s, and I'm sure you've had times as a kid where you didn't have, games, consoles, smartphones, and all these kinds of things, and there were times when you just had silence, maybe boredom or whatever, but you had a time before this sort of tech revolution, so to speak. So I think for people who are much older, maybe they're a bit more able to deal with it.
Yep. The older generations have grown up without technology. They've grown up with silence. They've grown up outside in the streets, in the parks, and just they've grown up outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been so used to being preoccupied in other things and getting to know themselves, know their abilities. Because it's one important thing. Am I speaking fast? Yeah, it's all there, it's all there.
Synapse is firing.
There's this thing about you cannot know yourself until you put yourself in physical situations. You will never know your ability or your capabilities if you are not actually physically out there doing things that teach you, that you learn from, things that challenge you, that test you. You never know. So for the older generations who had no TV, no entertainment, no 24 hours station, all this, they just had themselves. There was a time when TVs were just the whole day. There's no show going on, and then only on weekends you have like a whole day show. There were times when like you turn
a few channels.
You turn the TV on, there's like 4 channels, 3 channels, or it starts at 5 p.m. Things like that, just different world. So people had to go and play outside. People had to go and physically do things outside. People were doing a lot of things out there. So those generations now, they look for peace and quiet because they're used to peace and quiet. Because when you have your peace and quiet, you self-reflect. So when I teach people today, I tell them to learn to take the time off social media, off the internet, And even with their own children, I try and tell them that the kids need to have their own quiet time. No TV, no games, nothing. Just playtime. Even sometimes just give your child like objects, tools. Hey, go draw this, paint this. Take this pen, paint me sleeping. Boom, things like that.
Things where there's no devices involved.
Where there's no device involved. It's just you do something. Just learn your abilities. Learn to see what your hands can do, what your legs can do. Can you climb? Can you jump? Can you roll? Can you open this? Can you do something physically? Can you learn yourself? Because again, older generation. So now, as a coach, as a teacher, as a life coach, when I teach people, in an instant, I can tell who was outside playing, who wasn't. Because if you were active in your younger days, your younger years, it's a lot easier to pick up skills today.
Coordination.
You're coordinated. What's coordination is brain training. So everything that's physical is your brain. Or everything you do on a physical level, your brain does it first.
Mind, body.
So mind, body, mind. So when your mind is able to pick things up quickly, it's easy for your hands and legs to catch on to it. So when I teach people who have done something before in their youth, in their childhood, when they're adults, they pick up quickly. But the ones who have never done anything before, they've always been indoors, sat down, write this, play this, do this, just sit down all day. When they come out and do something, they're just the most uncoordinated, just can't get it right, can't focus on the task at hand. It's a chore. They want to go back indoors and just go and sit down in the corner and play their games. It happens. I'm not mad at them, but it's just like, okay, cool, no problem. What I've seen from that is when you are always sheltered and not able to go out and do things, the most important thing that you never got taught was it's okay to fail. It's okay to fall down. It's okay to make mistakes. The only reason why you're not good at what you're doing is because you've not done it enough times.
Okay.
That's it. I tell this to the kids, to the adults. I say in almost every class I teach, I say the same thing. The only reason you are not good at that thing right now is because you haven't done it enough times. You've not spent enough hours on that thing. That's it. Because everyone complains, oh, I'm not good at this. You're doing this, you're doing that. I make it look good because I've spent so many hours on that craft.
Yeah.
So a lifetime of hours on that thing. Is why if you give me anything today, give me a week, see what I'll do.
Yeah, because you've learned how to learn.
I've learned how to learn. When you're sleeping, I'm learning. When I'm sleeping, I'm learning. That task that's at hand, boom, I'll do it again. I'll do it until it gets boring. Then I'll do it again.
But this is the thing, it's like, man, you dropped a lot of good stuff there. I think that exposure, as you said, from being outside, because I can remember, like, for example, I lived in Jamaica for a year and a half as a kid, and I think we had 1 or 2 channels on TV while I was there. So it was all outside. It was playing cricket, it was building kites, it was climbing trees, it was fishing, it was all physical things. And I didn't realize how much I got from that, because as you say, there's a whole bunch of lessons in there. You're learning how to win, you're learning how to lose, you're learning how to defend yourself, like verbally, physically, how to fall, how to get back up, how to compete. These are all really valuable things. You're learning how to communicate. That's one of the biggest things about it, right? You're having to deal with people, different ages, different situations, how to protect yourself in lots of different ways, like even down in terms of like which areas should you go into, which should you not.
Learning to sense danger.
Yeah, learning to sense spidey sense, all of these different things you're learning. And I think that prepares you much more for life later on in terms of how you navigate and negotiate situations, because if you've won and lost and dealt with all these things, that can get you more into that place of learning how to be at peace with either. You know, to be in that place of equanimity of like, okay, I don't like winning, I don't like losing, obviously, but I've done it, I've dealt with it, and I find now, oftentimes when I hear young people, that resilience isn't there, and that ability to deal with losses or whatever's not there. So let's say, for example, have you ever had this, like, with a young kid, like, you show them something, they try it once, they can't do it, and they're like, yeah, I'm out. Like, I'm done.
Right.
Like, they don't want to even try again, and you're like...
Well, it's not that, though.
But it's because they live in that disposable time where you don't, you can just, like, opt out.
Well, remember now, so it's part of the school system as well. So in these schools today...
It's all about making it easy, mate.
It's not easy. It's like, okay, you can't do it, done. In these schools today, I talk to teachers, and I go, in my head, I go, hold on. You're not equipped to teach my child. Why is this? I'm telling you, because the system is now like, okay, the kid's not good at maths. Okay, move on. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, stop. They're not good at maths because they've not done it enough times. 1, 2, you don't check their language. When I say I'm not good at something, I am casting that upon myself.
That's a fixed.
I'm fixing it down. If I say like I'm not good at something, for me, for Kevlar Kes, that's an incomplete sentence. I will say I'm not good at this, but I will get better by putting in more work. For crying out loud. It doesn't happen in schools today. Oh no, the kid's not good at this. Okay, let's find what they're good at. No. They're not teaching you. You're teaching them.
It's the fixed mindset instead of what you're talking about, which is the growth mindset.
Yes.
Right? Yes. One is like an identity.
You see, you, the teacher, you have to teach the students the growth mindset.
Yes.
You have to teach them because that's your task, is to teach people how to grow. The only reason I will not make people grow is if I myself am not growing, because that means that your growth is going to make me feel jealous. I am on a constant growth path, so my thing is everyone has got to grow with me.
I think every teacher should have that perspective.
They don't.
But they don't, like you say. Like, you get some teachers who are just churning out the same stuff they've been doing for the past 20 odd years, and they're not doing any personal professional development. They're not growing within that field themselves, so they haven't got new ideas, new distinctions, new models, new things to share. But again, going back to equanimity, that growth mindset requires... Okay, you get distracted.
No, it's weird because there's a young girl that had like I think it's called bottle lips, where they put like a bottle and suck their lips out. Like that thing. You didn't see it?
Bottle lips?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see it.
Okay, so it's like a suction lips. So the lips just like...
That's the thing now.
It's a thing. Sorry.
I haven't heard of that. No, I was just saying, basically, a growth mindset requires equanimity because there has to be that acceptance of taking L's. So, for example, if I think of myself, when I was younger, I was really into basketball, but I didn't have the patience to deal with the L's sometimes. So let's say I'm playing and I make a mistake. I would lose it. I would be going over it in my head. Not lose it, but I'd just be like, oh, stupid. Why did I do that? And I'd get frustrated with myself. And I didn't understand at that time that it was just part of what happens. Like, you're going to get stuff wrong, you're going to get stuff right, whatever, and you just keep moving forward. But I was I would get really upset, and I'd go home and I would play back the stuff I did wrong, and I'd be like, oh, and I didn't even enjoy the game a lot of times. Whereas now, what I understand is every time I'm doing a rep, I'm getting better at something. Even if I get it wrong, even if it doesn't work, and I know it's just a number of reps until I get to where I want to be. So boxing taught me that. Do you know what I mean? I know there's a certain amount of mistakes you're gonna make. You're gonna get beat up this day, and this is gonna happen. But it's just part of it. It's just part of it.
Well, didn't someone tell you back then that it's okay to miss the hoop?
No one told me that.
That's it. That's literally it. Just because when I tell people that, even in their adult phases. And I go, "Look, honestly," because
Imagine.
when I say things to people today, imagine a 32-year-old, and I'm saying this to them, and it's new to them. What that means is all their life, all of their life, no one said to them, it's okay to not be perfect.
But in fact, they've been told the opposite of that. If you think about it.
I know, you need to be perfect. You need to be.
That's how papers are graded. Like, it's all about.
It's a self-defense mechanism from the adults around them. As a child, everything adults say around you is gospel truth. Everything they teach you is gospel truth, even when they are wrong. Even when they're wrong, the child, because remember, you have to catch them from 0 to 7. The child only knows what you said and believes your word is the law, because they look up to you as the teacher, as the one that brought them in, that you know better than them. Most adults don't know what they are doing, where they are going. I'm telling you this. Most adults don't. Most teachers don't. Most parents don't. Most professionals don't know what they're doing. And they are regurgitating what they've learned to get that certificate to pour down to the next generation. Not sitting back and going, hold on. If I say this way to this person, how does that affect them 10 years down the line? If I do this action here today, how does that look to that person 10 years down the line? Then we're not doing this. As a collective, we're not doing this.
But see, I agree with you 100%. And I think another thing I've seen more and more, especially as I've been meditating a lot more, is when you have that time on your own and when you go deep, you start to observe your own unconscious patterns and reactions. So let me give you an example, right, from my own personal experience. It's happened recently. I was in a shop, a woman's in front of me in a queue. She goes to pay. The guy says, okay, yeah, I need another 80p. So she goes into a bag and takes out some money. He's like, no, okay, I need another 40p. I'm standing there and she's kind of like half laughing while she's going through her verse. What I feel, I'm such a nutter, but what I feel physically is like, it's almost like the signature of frustrations just starting to build, right? And then my mind's about to go into this thing of like, why is this woman taking so long? This is inconsiderate. I could have got served, da da da. But because I'm present and I notice I'm starting to have this reaction, I kind of step out of it and I just observe and I go, wait a minute, let me have a look at this. She doesn't have enough money. From her perspective, this is a really embarrassing situation right now. That's nervous laughter that she's having there. She's actually like, you know when someone's like embarrassed?
Yes.
And I'm looking at it and I'm like, this woman, she could be like my auntie or something, do you know what I mean? As an old lady. And I was like, wow, like how quickly my mind went to a judgment. And if I wasn't conscious, I would have just been like, ugh. And so then I spoke to the guy, found out it really wasn't that much. And I just like paid for it and she left. But I walked out of there and I was just, oh shit, like if you don't have self-awareness, you just play out old patterns of behavior. And what I see in my day-to-day interacting with people is like 99% of people are not aware like on that level. So things happen and they're just like, oh, you've pissed me off, or oh, this has happened, or oh. And it's just constantly pointing externally instead of realizing that they're reacting to it's their own evaluations and their own judgments and their own programs.
We are constantly evaluating others the way we evaluate ourselves. We see others the way we're looking through our own eyes.
That's the key.
There's a whole.
That's the key.
Everything is always neutral, but it's how we see it is what makes it negative or positive based on our own perspective of self. So if my mindset is always negative minded, the most positive thing on earth would happen. But I'll be like, yeah, but no, no. No. Yeah,
this
but
is gonna lead to something awful.
Yeah, it's gonna go wrong in 5, 4, like that. Because I'm negative minded. You understand?
Mm.
If I'm positive minded and anything happens, I would always see the positive part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's a bad thing, I'm like, yeah, okay, good, this bad thing happened, but there's a positive note there.
Yeah, I could use it this way, or I could
use
learn
it
this
this way.
from
There
it.
you go.
Blah, 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 blah.
Learn from something. If I'm naive, then I'll be like, they say we should wear a mask for the next 6 months, and it's fine because, they have us in their best interest. Yay! Yay! But, it happened 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and all those times things went wrong. But this time is gonna be better. Naivete. So yeah, that happens. So where's the danger of equanimity?
Excuse me?
You are excused. Because equanimity basically is like yourself from a perspective, it's acceptance. It's not just stoicism. It's basically
I would say, in a phrase for me, it's like it is what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that balance?
In a nutshell.
Is that balance and acceptance of things, right? Of things are the way they are. People are the way they are. People just do things because they're people. Humans are humans. Don't get mad at nonsense. It just is what it is. Don't let it control your day. Just be cool. Now, here's where we have pros and cons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dave is a dickhead.
I like the way you start with Dave is a dickhead when my name's David. Perfect.
You're David. You're Dave. Difference.
Okay, go on.
You know that guy Dave because you're David. You're not Dave.
Yeah, I'm
Dave
definitely not
is a
Dave.
dickhead, right?
Go on.
You know Dave's a dickhead.
Mm.
And it's making us Davids look bad. Okay? Cool. By the way, my name is David if you want to know. So yeah, I'm a David too. You're welcome. Right. How am I David? Born on St. David's Day, blah blah blah. Anyway, so yeah, different story. Right. So Dave's a dickhead, right? Equanimity comes in. It's cool. He's a dickhead. He's our dickhead. Cool. Right?
Mm.
I'm cool. He does dickhead stuff on Monday. Okay, cool. Well, it's just dickhead. I let him slide. Because I let him slide on Monday, I have encouraged his dickhead behavior on Tuesday.
We need some safeguards.
Boundaries, mate.
I agree.
Equanimity, bro. I was cool on Tuesday. Wednesday is like,
Good.
he didn't punch me in the face. Hey, therefore, more dickheadery. Yeah. Con, how do we sort that out?
That's a really good question, and I had a feeling that might be where you're going with it. What I would say is equanimity doesn't mean taking on bullshit. It's more the case of looking at something clearly. So to have someone punch you in the face and be like, "Oh yeah, that's fine, that's okay," to me that's not about equanimity. Now you're more in denial, because equanimity is it's not adding anything to it. It's not taking away anything from it. It's being able to go, okay, that's what that is. And so if that's something which is unacceptable, then you need to assert yourself and do something about that situation. That's what I would say. It's not an excuse for taking on nonsense or accepting nonsense, because again, that's not equanimous in my opinion, because that's more aversion. Like you're avoiding the reality of it because maybe you're scared of Dave, or maybe you're avoiding a difficult confrontational type situation or argument or fight even or whatever, and that's not equanimous either. You see what I'm saying? So I don't think it's not about accepting stuff which is unacceptable. It's more about being honest and not adding to or taking away from the reality of what is. Like Dave's a dickhead. We've established this. Let's not pretend he's not.
Yeah.
And it's all okay.
Okay. I get that So how will we handle Dave here?
Well, Dave wouldn't have hit me in the face, I'll tell you that much. No, I don't think there's a one size fits all for that question, because it's really going to depend on the person. Like, I know some people who are going to beat the stuffing out of Dave for that.
Right.
In the story, he punches.
Just be a dickhead, bro. Just because, you know, like, just because this is the age old school bully system.
Yeah.
Which is, oh yeah, if a bully bullies you, what you do is you just say sticks and stones break my bones, and you know, yeah, God will bless you. Da 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 da.
In my experience, you've got to deal with that stuff as soon as possible, and nip it in the bud. It's like that kind of. I'm trying to think of an example. Like
Step on his kneecap.
Patrice O'Neill tells some story about this guy who robbed him, and he was like, before he did it, there were all these little things he did on the way up. Like, you know, he made a little comment. He kind of brushed him. Like, he's testing the waters. He was checking him. And he was kind of like,
checking his G.
Yeah, he was trying to see, like, what can I get away with, right?
Is he a
like,
punk?
oh, I can do this, I can do that. I can do that. And then eventually, he robbed him. That's what I'm saying.
That's what it is. So if I'm equanimous, right, and someone's gonna shove me, I'm like, hey, it's okay, buddy.
That's not what equanimity is.
Oh, I thought it was like being a bitch.
No.
Oh, so I'm not a bitch.
What the fuck is wrong with you, man? That's not what it is. It's just, oh man,
bro. That's like New Testament, bro. Slap me on here.
I
on the
never
other cheek.
said that. I never said any of that.
Pa, it's okay.
It's about your it's about your internal situation and how you manage stuff, so you're not losing your center. So you're staying centered is what I mean. So let's say Dave does that. Let's say Dave slaps you in the face, right? If you were not equanimous, one extreme of that would be complete like retreat from the whole situation and like not doing anything at all. The other extreme would be like jump on him and like jump up and down on his head and kill him, right? Like that would be like the two extremes.
There's cameras around, bro. I'm not gonna do that. I'll be like, this bitch!
I was listening to that Bruno Mars song yesterday and I thought of you. I started dying, man. This I can't believe they put that in that song. That was genius. But yeah, two extremes would be, I would say, complete aversion, which would be kind of like, run away from the whole situation. The other extreme would be like, kill him on the spot. You know what I mean? And equanimity would be in the middle. It would be like,
look at the camera of life. I was like, is the audience seeing what happened? If I jump in, I'm not gonna feel guilty, you know. Hey, okay. Equanimity. Cool.
I think when you said being stoic, you were a lot closer to the mark. I thought it was being a bitch. Like, you just play devil's advocate anyway.
Well, yeah, obviously. That's what I do, man. That's what I do. I know the answer, but nah. Too easy. You gotta work for this shit. Nah. I'm not that cool. Like, nope. Everyone gets it. Equal rights, equal lefts. Or kick your ass accordingly.
Equal rights, equal lefts.
Standard, mate.
I love that one. I haven't used that yet.
Man, I use it every day. So, you gonna get your ass kicked. Don't worry, lovingly. I'm gonna sweep you and just gently just put it to the ground. Hey, because you're a lady. Pow. Do it again. Do it again. The guys get the full blown. Pow! That's what you get. I talk shit, bro. I'm a shit talker. I'm gonna catch you like, pow! That's what you get. Oh, horrible. Horrible. Everyone gets it. Kids, babies, dogs, cats.
Babies and dogs.
Bro, I'm gonna see baby like, shut up. I'm gonna call your mom. Don't fight me. Please. Equanimity. But regardless, I'm balanced. You know. Regardless, I'm calm.
See, kind of like to parlay this into social media because
go.
Yeah, I think the connection for me is, again, it's one of those things which is, it's not helping people to be equanimous or calm or centered. Like, quite the opposite. Like you mentioned earlier that the algorithm is going to favor stuff which causes conflict, argument, triggers people.
Yes, negative emotions.
And so these things are designed that way. So if someone posts something and you respond and go, actually, I think that's complete nonsense, and you're obviously a Donald Trump supporter and yada yada yada,
top comments.
That's going to become, top. And I had a situation with a guy recently. I think I mentioned to you, who I only discovered recently has basically been frustrated by stuff I've been posting for years. And
you got a hater, bro.
And he was commenting like constantly, and it just didn't make sense to me. Like, why would you keep commenting on stuff like, if you don't want this in your feed, that's going to bump it up to the top?
Haterade.
But yeah, I think one of the dangers of social media is that it's making people more and more reactive and less able to deal with different points of view, in a way that is just adult and rational. It's just kind of, people just block someone rather than have them in their feed, or they get into arguments and all of this kind of nonsense.
Right. So
that's one aspect of it I'd like to tackle.
It's not bird cage. What do you call it? Whatever we do in life is going to be push. Whatever we decide in life, there's going to be an opposing side.
As in pushback.
Push and push back, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Whatever you like, someone else likes the opposite of what you like. Whatever you like to do, someone else likes the opposite or hates what you do. This is what it is. This is just the way. This is how we are as a people. And it's fine for us to have our differences of opinion. No problem. As long as it does not affect me physically, mine doesn't affect physically, we're good. So if I say, I like Arsenal, you like Chelsea, fine, so be it. You understand? There's no big deal about this. No, I'm like, Chelsea is going to kick it. No. It just means nothing. But the issue with social media is that we go into our conference rooms where everyone, you must like this together. Mm-hmm. And if that person doesn't like what you like, you get kicked out of the group, out of the crowd, out there. Like, it's whatever. But it's the issue that we have with surrounding yourself with people who have never met people, who have never seen real life, who have not been in real life. Now, bear in mind, you forget that most of social media, it's actually the younger generation. It's mostly the younger generation. It's a lot of under 30s. It's the younger generation, and it's fine. It's your time. It's your thing. Go. Do you? What I realized, a lot of us who have lives don't do as much as we do on social media. We don't. So when you see that we've not posted in a month or in a long time, it's because we're actually out here living life, doing real human things. If I'm posting every 2 hours, I ain't doing shit, bro. But I'd rather, I know you as well, I'd rather do things in the real world, in the real life, and have more of an effect to people than have online. So if my actions change the lives of 10 people in the real world, I'd rather have that physical interaction than to have, 10,000 likes on a video. It does nothing to me at all. That doesn't, the buzz, the endorphin release when I see likes on my videos, it's not for me. I don't get the buzz. I'm not financially dependent on.
There's no way. It's not comparable to the real world thing, though, is it? You can't even compare the fulfillment and all the rest.
It is comparable when it's your only source of income. When it's your 9 to 5, when you make money out of Instagram and YouTube, that becomes your life. You are more concerned about, I must get these likes, I must get these shares. that subscribe because I'm gonna get paid £20 because that's your only income source. So people get hooked on that. They forget that they forget that most of all these social media um, buffs, that's their livelihood. They're literally slaves to the system. Oh, you can't say these words, you can't do these things. If you speak your mind or speak the truth, you might get unfollowed or demonetized. What does that mean, demonetized? I'm never monetized in the first place. You understand?
Me
Is demonetized, and then the more we dig into it, we start finding out about the blue pill, red pill, black pill, major pill, purple pill. You know, I don't even
know what all the colors are anymore.
I don't know what it is, because the last time I checked, it's like, okay, I go online and I go, okay, it's just constant argument.
Yeah,
it's constant. So if you've not been online for a long time and you go online and you watch most of all these social media buffs, it's sickening.
It's the same.
It's men going, women ain't shit. It's women going, men ain't shit. It's everyone's like, why the hell is everyone arguing about everyone? And they literally cannot sit down in the same room and have a conversation. But the issue is that if I'm watching this all day, every day, I would automatically start to follow their opinion as well.
You're programming. You're going to become what you expose
I become what
yourself to.
Thank you. Like you said. You know, we keep watching that all the time. Next thing we start to regurgitate the same words. Women ain't shit. Women can't do this. Oh, men ain't shit. Men can't do this. I'm like, where is that coming from? Nothing. Just from nowhere. Everyone around is having a peaceful time, nice and gentle time. You with your social media brain, you come in. It's true. People are having a good time. You just come in and go, but everyone's like, Dave, what's wrong with you, bro? Back to Dave again.
Fucking Dave. So, no, the thing is, ultimately the way your brain functions is the stuff that we're putting in there over and over and over again. It's almost like your own brain algorithm, since we're talking algorithms, is being set up to function in a certain way. And so, you know, the reticular activator system, if you're exposing yourself to something over and over and over and over and over again, what you're telling your brain is, this is important. It's like, this is important, look out for this, filter for this. And so then that becomes your worldview. And then you're regurgitating these talking points from these people. And I even noticed it with myself at a certain point where I was like, wait a minute, I'm starting to be critical in a certain way or think in a certain way. And then I was like, okay, yeah. Don't recommend, like, anytime there's videos that come up, it'd be like, do not recommend. I'd like delete them off my feed because I don't want that to be in my algorithm where I'm being exposed to that.
Your mental algorithm.
Yeah, my mental algorithm, man. And another thing I would add is, on a deeper level, what in the actual fuck?
Sorry, bad drivers.
And another thing I would add to it is a great book called Deep Work by Cal Newport, and he talks about how deep work is rare, it's valuable, it's meaningful. It's that kind of work where you lock in and focus without distraction. And essentially nowadays, there's a number of different forces that are pulling people in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Whether it's offices being open plan where you can have distractions, whether it's instant messaging at certain companies where you're receiving constant messages, or the expectation that you're going to have a social media presence. All of these things prevent you from being able to do deep work, because deep work is when you lock in for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, or whatever a day, and really do meaningful work. But that's where the best stuff comes from.
Right.
And social media is one of those things which kind of pulls people in the opposite direction of that, because you have all those interruptions. And so yeah, I'm really looking at how to limit that. Like, I uninstalled Facebook and Instagram last night. It felt so good, bro. And I think what I'll do is I'll just install them when I post something. Maybe once a week. Fridays go on, post, uninstall again. So it's just not there. And this is probably not even an issue for you, but
It's not.
It's not. But like when I started making content a few years ago, I did get into a pattern of just regularly connecting with it. And I've had challenges with that sometimes. Where I've just kind of drift to it. Like I don't need to check it, but I'm on it.
Right. That's understandable. I have all these apps on my phone. The trick is I just don't touch my phone.
That's what I was gonna ask you. How do you navigate the whole having a phone thing? Do you give yourself a certain amount of time a day, or let's say you go on social media? Is it specifically to post or comment, or like how do you? Because there has to be boundaries around anything for it to be a healthy relationship.
Well,
right? whether it's a person.
It's not brown. For me, it's not brown. It's priority. It's priority. It's what's more important right now. Or what's more important today, or what's more important next week. So I'm looking at the level of importance.
So you're focused on your plan and what you need to do.
Yes, absolutely. I'm looking at the level of importance. So if I've got to be here, there, this, that, everywhere, I don't have time to look at Facebook. Facebook is not priority one. It's not. If I've got to do 1,000 things, Facebook is not priority. That's why I see I do it. Moreover, I keep myself very busy on the physical level, on the physical plane, that my phone's not on me. And the people I'm around, I kind of tell them as well, sometimes in a nice way, sometimes in a not so nice way.
Me too.
Yeah, I was like, I go and have no phones. Nah, no phones. And I was like, nope, put that down. Yeah, but nah, put that shit down.
It's not quality time, man.
It's quality time, yeah. But it's, again, nice way is yeah, I like me and you time. The not so nice way is put that shit down. That's it. Simple. Just put it down. Yeah. So it's not hard for me. It's not hard. I get that it's hard for most of the world. I understand it because we've been designed to depend on social media. We have been, and it's actually affecting our real lives. So our real lives are like we're disconnected. There's a disconnect. There's that deep, like I said, deep learning. We have a social disconnect because we don't know how to communicate with each other anymore, which is a big problem, which is not a good thing at all.
It's largely because it's easier not to. Do you know what I mean? So let's say, for example, right, you and I, and I've experienced this many times, you and I are in a space, but there's like, maybe we've come to see a talk, or we're on a course, or we're on a break during this course, or whatever, but there's or maybe we're outside queuing to go in somewhere, or whatever, right? Once upon a time, when there was no phones there, it would just be socially awkward for us to not communicate.
Yes,
right?
Thank you. Yes.
So we kind of had to communicate because, like,
Yes.
what am I going to do? Just sit here in the break and just look at the wall, right?
Yeah.
Whereas now, phones have made it very easy to not do that.
Yes.
So you can kind of go, okay, I don't need to communicate with you. I've got my own little world and barrier I can put up around myself now. I can look at my phone. Once upon a time, it would have been, hey, how you doing, man? What brings you to the course today? Or, do you know what I mean? Oh, you come to the club tonight. Which DJ do you want to see? People would have that conversation.
What's weird about today is that when you're the one that's having that convo, you look weird now.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Well, you're the one, and I'm usually that person.
I know you. I just was like, hey, how are you doing? What are you doing today? Oh, we're just doing this. Oh, cool. That's a nice watch. Boom. Conversation starting. Icebreaker.
Yeah.
Just having a convo. I don't
I
want your number. No, just
being human beings.
We're in the moment, and it's like sorry, I have a boyfriend.
It's nice for you, isn't it?
Good for you. I don't have a boyfriend. I'm good. It's like, yeah, moving on.
Moving swiftly along.
You know? Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, I do that shit all the time.
I love it.
And what's interesting is, sometimes I can see people are super uncomfortable with it because they're just not used to that, and they get all self-conscious, and people, don't have communication skills like they did once upon a time. But also, there are also other times where you can see they really wanted to have some kind of connect, like they're really enjoying it.
Yes.
It's like, oh, I can be human. Like we're allowed to talk.
I saw this video.
Sometimes other people jump in.
I saw this video with this lady, and she first started with how strong and independent she is, and how she doesn't need no man, and everybody, blah blah. She's fine with herself. This, that, and third. But then it poured into a cry session. No, legit. It was a. She did not expect it.
What was the context? Like, where was she?
But it became a cry for help. So you first started with how she's badass, she's got this job, she's independent, doesn't need anybody, doesn't need no man, doesn't need anybody, but she misses hugs. And then it poured out.
Oh,
like she misses genuine hugs. Like, when someone actually cares about you and wants the best for you, and then there's that I'm comfortable in your arms hug, and then she just exactly, and then you started pouring out and everything, and so that's the issue with my red pill, blue pill, 1 pill, 2 pills situation. I don't like that, because my thing generally is community. Community. You cannot form a community if you are constantly arguing with yourselves,
it's us versus
or the
them
opposite
shit,
sex,
right?
everything. So what I do as a person, because my idea is to build communities, as a person, I demarcate or remove myself from those who are very me focused, very I focused, very me focused, very negative minded, don't have the concept of we.
As in unity is in the word community.
Unity, thank you. Hey, this guy.
You try, man.
If you're not want to cooperate with other people, we don't need you. It starts from there. If you're not willing to cooperate or listen or learn, if you lack learning skills, you're not part of this group. We're good. And it's not for everyone. That's the thing. I don't believe in the masses. I believe in the elite. As simple as that. I'm not for everybody. I'm not white rice. I'm not for everybody. If you don't like me, bounce. It's not by force. It's as simple as that. It's been that from day one. And that's the whole thing. Because when you were red pilling, you're like, oh, women are not good, or men are not good, pink pilling, all these things. That doesn't work for us here. Go somewhere else. If you are into building an island and by yourself, that's good for you. Good. Go and die alone. No problem. But if you actually want to communicate with people,
with your pets,
not with the pets, just go and die alone. It's my business. If you actually want people to help and support you and be there for you in your dying days and have a family eventually, you need to show your proof of work. You need to show that people can actually stand you. You need to show that people actually like you, want to be around you. And how do you do that? By being part of a community. That's how it works. Simple as.
It's interesting you mentioned that, right? Because I was thinking about this today, and I say this often, but in a lot of ways, I'm a lone wolf. I love people. I love connecting with people, but I find most communities I've observed, been a part of, etc., are really dysfunctional.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
For me, and this is very much influenced by my own, life experience. But for me, I think growing up in a family that was like that really didn't help. Do you know what I mean? No. Because it was like, okay, so my first example of a community is completely dysfunctional.
Yes.
And then after that, seeing it in so many different spaces. It could be churches, it could be, different organizations. But I find oftentimes different people's egos and whatnot, even if the intention's good, it's like the Lord of the Flies kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like human nature is still like human nature. So I've come to the conclusion that I have to create my own, and I'm doing that now bit by bit. Like there's little kind of like groups of people I connect with who I feel have shared values. But even within that, it's challenging sometimes because you do have to deal with different people's egos, and you have to work out, okay, what is this good for the group?
Okay.
So give me your thoughts on this, because I think while this is my experience, I think there's a lot of other people who their thing with community and even relationship goes back to just messed up experiences in the past.
I'll put it in two ways. I'll give you one way of your system and another way of relatability. So you are the vanguard, you are the old guard, you are the one who is you see the community, the vanguard, you see the community, you watch the community, but you are the soldier on the side. You're like, I will help you from distance. That's what you do. That's what you should do. That's a you. Because you're trying to jump in there to help. No. You're the vanguard. The vanguard are the lone wolf, but they're not lone wolves. You're on the outside.
That's
so
me
perfect. I got you. If you need me, I'm there.
That's.
I'm not there to. I've done the foundation. I'm just there, but I'm watching.
Mm-hmm.
I'm there when there's an emergency. Boom.
There's a need.
Ring the bell. Whoosh, we're gonna fly in. Save Lewis Lane. Get back out. Boom.
Yeah.
We're good.
Mm-hmm.
The vanguard.
Mm-hmm.
2. Transformers, the old 80s cartoon. You should watch it. The bad guys, the Decepticons. Megatron was the bad guy. His right-hand man, Soundwave. It was a robot that transformed into a radio, into a beatbox. Right? Soundwave. Soundwave was the quiet guy in the corner, but he was the G. He was the leader's trusted right-hand man.
Mm-hmm.
He was the G. He was the one he was the vanguard. Don't say much. But when it kicks off, boom, you can't pass him. That's it. And that's the problem, is that we're trying to play chess with checkers. We're different.
As in trying to put a square peg in a round hole type thing.
That's exactly what it is. You know your position, you play a position, you're good to go. Everyone else play a position, and that's what it is. We, as a people, are constantly trying to play everyone else's position. Nah, man. No. You're good. We're good. This is my position. I'll play my position. And I'll get others who are better than me in that field to play that position. I'm not going to be the tailor, the chef, the sniper, and everything. No.
It's too complicated.
And I'm going to get angry, pissed off, tired, everything's there. Oh, yeah, I can't do this because we're constantly trying to play out every other person's position. Nah, we're good. I know my best bits. I will stick to it. Someone that's better than me at that thing, go and do it. I might know that skill.
So you're able to do that then? Because I find a lot of leaders really struggle with like letting go of control over certain things.
They're not leaders, bro.
I see that.
They're bosses.
A lot, man.
It's different. It's a difference. There's a leader and a boss. A leader wants everyone to grow. A boss wants to handle your growth so that you're under them the whole time. I lead. I'm a leader. I want you to be better than you were yesterday. I want you to eventually be better than me, so that I can do what? I can retire and just chill. Because learn, teach, inspire, grow. I've learned my skills. I'm teaching my skills. In my teaching, I'm inspiring people. When I inspire them, I help them grow. When they grow, I grow. We grow. We good. That's the magic. That's leadership. Learn, teach, inspire, grow. I see this so often. I had to sit down with someone on the weekend, and I was trying to give him a better concept of how his business would flourish by helping other people grow.
Leadership.
brain couldn't hack it. Like the brain could not hack it. Just it's like it does not compute.
Was he not seeing that it was? Because I think one of the things with what you're saying is someone who doesn't have the right perspective is going to see it as, well, what am I going to get out of that? Like,
Yes.
it's going to take a lot of my time, it's going to take a lot of my energy, and they're not going to see the payoff for it. Was that what he was struggling with?
Yes. And it's the same thing he's been doing for the past, I say, decade.
Interesting.
Because every time, because again, I want people to grow, so I'm not on my square, and if I see you struggling, I will help. I would go out of my way to make sure you are a bit better than yesterday. That's just what I do, and I'm there trying to make him better because I see him struggling, and his struggles are based on his own actions, not the environment. But he's got this external locus of control, which is basically, oh, this thing happened to me is someone else's fault. Every other person is doing this to me. Oh no, I'm just gonna sit down and watch and pray that it gets better instead of taking action and doing things. Then I go, okay, here's what it is. We do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. These 5 steps are gonna help you get better in 6 months' time. No, but yeah, but no, but yeah, but okay, cool. How about option B? We do this for you. I'll help you do this and that. Yeah, but that's not what I want. And I'm going, I said this to you 5 years ago. Where did it get you? I said this to you 3 years ago. Where did it get you? You were stubborn on your own ideals that physically were impossible. You were talking from an emotional point, not from an intellectual point. It's based on, I feel like, but I'm like, hold on. I'm giving you tangible proof of this is how it's supposed to be done. Proof of concept. Concept work. This is, do it this way, it will work. Yeah, but making executive decisions on an emotional level.
So this person is just too emotional then?
No, he's stubborn. Stubborn. It's not emotional. It's old dog, new tricks.
Yeah, that's kind of emotional though. Still.
Very, very emotional. It's very emotional.
Because I see that with stubborn people as well. It's like you're showing them the facts. You're not even saying, oh, well, this is what I believe or this is what I feel. You're like, no, this is like
This works.
This works, and what you're doing is obviously not working. But they don't want to let go of whatever it is.
This works. This is the body of work. I've done it. It's worked for me. You can do it. It worked for you. Go. Yeah, but no, but, and it's more of a like, you don't want to do it because you don't want because you feel like if I'm right, then I have an ego boost about me. I don't care. That's beneath me. I just want you to win because I don't want to get to the top and it's just me there. That's going to be a boring.
That's an interesting point as well, though. Because I do see that sometimes too. People, when you show someone something, it's not that you're not trying to make them wrong and you right. Like, it's not about that.
No.
Although I'm usually right, to be fair, right? But what's interesting is sometimes people don't want to accept it because of their egos, because it's almost like they don't want to accept that they're wrong.
Yes.
Like, they're too attached to...
They don't want to accept that you won because they think that you are competing against them.
But it's not.
But it's not.
It's not that at all. I want everyone to win. Like, and this is one, I think, one of the key differences I've noticed between people who I consider successful and those who I consider unsuccessful is successful people have that abundance mindset. So they want you to win, and they're actually invested in you winning. Right?
Yes.
Because if you give him that guidance, no, you want to see him win as well. Like, you've invested the time, like, you want to see him do well. But I think that's a win-win mindset, and I think most people operate from a win-lose mindset.
What's in it for me mindset?
That too, yeah. It's like, well, if you're getting something, I must be losing something. It's like, no, we can both.
And also
grow,
there's also a how do I put it? There's also a how do I say it to you? When he wins, he's gonna rub my nose in it. Situation.
Yeah, exactly. It's
But
almost
it's
like the wind's tainted or something somehow, right? Because you didn't do it yourself. It's all ego stuff, man. It's all ego.
I have a few people who envy my wins.
Mm-hmm.
Envy my wins, and I go, there's no point for that. It's for all of us. It's for all of us. It's not for me. It's for all of us. My wins are not for me. It's for everybody. But it's like, how dare you win? Because I work hard for it. I grind.
Do you ever like not hide stuff, but do you ever not share stuff with people because
A lot of times.
Because I've started to realize that recently as well. Like sometimes when stuff's going well, you tell people, and then it makes them feel. I underestimated how powerful a force envy is before.
Yes.
I really underestimated it because
Mm.
I wouldn't say I'm an envious person, but ultimately, people, when you have more of something with someone or have more success with someone, especially people close to you.
Do you know why? You're not an envious person?
Go on.
Because you don't see a limit to your achievements. You don't have a cap to your goals. You haven't got there's no invisible ceiling to your goals. You're a dreamer. You always see more. Those who have a cap to their achievements, they know this is the end of the road. And then
Interesting. They don't see the possibility for more.
They don't. And then when they see that you have the ability to have the possibility to grow, that's envy. Like, how dare you grow?
That's real
without
interesting.
me? How dare you? So if you notice, that's the magic. The ones who have.
You're right, because
That's
the
the
ones
magic.
that believe they can,
The ones who believe they can.
they celebrate you having that, because you remind them, oh well, Kez can do that, so then I'm
on my path as well.
Yeah. I'm 1 degree of separation from that.
There you go. So the ones who have that, they know, okay, this is the end of the road for me.
Wow.
But when they see you moving, they envy the fact that you can still keep going. But that's the true path of growth. It's not the I want to, how do I put it? It's not the I want to, okay, I'll use an example for health and fitness. It's not that I want to get to 5% body fat, or I want to get healthy for a photo shoot. It's I want to stay healthy. I want to remain healthy. I want to keep doing. That's the true path of success. Is actually a continuous journey.
Continuous.
It's not a I want to do it in 3 months and stop.
No. I want to get fit for my wedding and all this kind of stuff.
Thank you. Lifestyle. That's what it is. It's finite and infinite. Because we make mistakes when our goals are on a finite level. I want to get here and stop. No. Everything we should do should be infinite. Ikagai. 1% better every day.
It's that fixed mindset versus growth mindset again,
That's it.
Isn't it?
That's literally it. Because I want to be a this, and you finally get your wishes, but your wish has like a invisible ceiling.
A great example of that, well, two I can think of. One is like most Olympic athletes go into deep depression after they win Olympic gold.
Yes.
Right? Because
Yes.
they didn't have
Because their goal, because their goal was to win the Olympics. That's a finite dream.
Yeah.
You get there, and then what?
Yeah.
You can't start dreaming now because the dream has been destroyed.
Goal versus mission. Yeah,
Boom.
Yeah.
But when your dreams are infinite, you want to go, okay, I want to be the best athlete ever by winning the Olympics, and then teaching, and then growing, and then it keeps going and going and going.
That's what you need.
So you don't stop. And everyone who did this, they stop there and they go, why is Michael Jordan still going there? Because his dreams are infinite.
He's got a growth mindset. Yeah, Kobe Bryant's the same. Tyson Fury's another one. Like he spent his whole life dreaming of being a heavyweight champion, and then as soon as he became a heavyweight champion, he had nothing to live for.
He fell into depression. Manic suicidal.
Wow.
Happens. So, I know how words are. I know the power of words. I know the effect of words. I know how words work. That's why we go back an hour ago. I mean, talking about the teachers are not equipped to teach today because they don't understand this. Oh, I want to be a nurse. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a this. Okay. They now get there, and then what? Now you get there. You're now mad at the NHS for not paying you enough money. I lie. I'm not lying. It's the truth. Anyway, that's me. That. Any questions, sir?
I don't have any questions. I'm trying to think if there's anything I want to say in conclusion. Equanimity. I would challenge people to reflect on that, to reflect on equanimity, and because ultimately everything is transient, and every emotion, every experience, everything is finite to a degree, and so knowing that attaching to things or pushing things away, it's not a very effective strategy. So for example, let's say you want to be entertained at every moment of the day, which is the kind of time we live in now, right? You're craving that stimulation constantly, but there's a lack of peace that comes with that. And even if you are able to stimulate yourself, you're now kind of drowning in the shallow, and you don't have meaningful experiences on the same level. Like when you disconnect from that stuff and you connect with real people, have real conversations, when you do things that you care about that are meaningful, that has a completely different hit to it. But that requires the equanimity to be cool with boredom sometimes, to be cool with silence, to be cool with just being, you know. And I challenge people to reflect on some of this stuff and disconnect from all their devices. Have some conversations like this and engage with things offline more.
I'll do another one. I challenge you and everyone else to question your words. Question what you say. You want to say, why did I say that? What does that mean? Also, question your friends, your associates, your colleagues, people around you. When they say things, you want to ask them the same question. Why did you say that? What does that mean? That's it. You do that and you see how different the world gets for you. Well,
bring some awareness.
Is that it?
That's it, man.
Alright. Everyone, it's been emotional. Stay blessed, highly favored, all that good stuff.
Peace.